Welcome to the Toolshed, man. We're happy that you stopped by, hanging out with my buddy Eddie McFarlane in the Schedule Engine Toolshed.
What a morning.
How's it going, Bo?
If it was any better, I'd be you.
I hear you. I've had some coffee today.
Look out.
Yes. Hey, this one-of-a-kind Toolshed is brought to you by Schedule Engine. If you haven't checked out Schedule Engine, you owe it to yourself to check out those suite of services, because listen, you can have less headaches and book more calls. And what's not to like about that, right? This particular episode is a good one, and it's sponsored by our good friends over at Emerson, and we're super thankful for those fine folks.
Super grateful.
Super grateful, and we got some good stuff for you. You're going to enjoy it. Hang on to your seat today.
Particularly the edge.
The edge of your seat today.
We're going to be on the edge of your seat. Pay for the whole edge. I got nothing. Hey, listen, this week is great. You know why? I'm so excited because I get to spend a ton of time with Jerry, and obviously a ton of knowledge, but like the way he conveys that knowledge is always so engaging. And when we think of our teams and we think of our customers and, you know, how much information we have to share, I don't know of many people that do it better than Jerry, and he has a special gift. Loosely, we talk about it as storytelling, and today and in this week, we're going to talk about the art of that and how people use it and why to use that and how to convey information. You know, if people knew what we knew in the same situation, they would probably do what we do. And sometimes it's not all about bombarding people with facts. You can be right, and you can be lonely, or you can get better at telling stories and build a team. So
it's an
I'm
art.
excited.
It's an art
well,
that you can learn to communicate with homeowners through storytelling, and they'll follow your story a little better.
Yeah.
And the whole storytelling thing's really good for your business. If you want to know about marketing, I don't know a lot about marketing, but I love people that know a lot of stuff about marketing. And if you market the right way, it's all about your story. It's about your company's story, and people buy into the story. They connect, and they want to do business with you because of the story.
Yeah, right.
And then your people go to their homes. There's residential contractors, and they say, "Hey, we know your story."
Oh,
it's lovely.
We're getting into, and we got a ton to get through, but like, it's gonna be a keeper. You're gonna like bookmark this one. It's sure to be a favorite. And again, you do it really well, and you make it look easy. So I'm gonna try and like extract some of the things that you just do very naturally, and we'll all learn together. And I appreciate Jerry. You know, you're speaking about companies that have great brands, and I don't know of many that do it better. There's two companies that I think about. One has been doing it for a while and part of a story brand, and that's the team at Ghetto. Oh my goodness, they do a great. And Ken Goodrich over there and his team, they're open books about how their storytelling and the narrative. Shout out to Ghetto, the whole team. The picture of the kid holding the flashlight for his dad working on an air conditioner, it's become part of their DNA. They're recognized. People stop the techs at traffic lights and they all have flashlights to give customers and stuff. Like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
it's a blueprint for success, man. If you want to know, read his book.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The ebook for HVAC
watch his
contractors.
podcast.
Yeah, and he's an open book, and he gives generously to the industry. He understands it's not a secret information thing, it's an execution thing, so he's an open book. And Ken, if you're watching, we deeply appreciate what you do for the trade, and I had the pleasure of serving on the ACA air conditioning contractor board with Ken very briefly, and he's a gentleman. The other company I think about that's doing a great job building their brand and building their company DNA is the team at NextGen on the West Coast with Ish and his entire team, and they're growing fast, and they're doing it, and they're being very mindful about that. And so shout out to those. That's a couple of powerhouses right there.
No joke, man. Hey, if you're in the NextGen circle of trust, I would love one of y'all's hats. Like, send me some swag and I'll send you some Toolshed stuff.
True story. Season 2, Jerry, what do you need?
I need a hat.
If you need anything, and he's like, I need a coat stand for all the hats. So yes, apparently we're in dire need of more hats. Send hats, please help. So great teams, great storytellers, and actually in the Schedule Engine family. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of cool stuff, it's giveaway time. So this one is good. Again, 3 ways to be in the running for one of these giveaways. The Toolshed is all about the place you come to make the job easier. Can't think of a better way of doing that is by actually giving away an actual tool. And so we're going to do that. You just need to join the Facebook group or refer someone or be engaged, comment, ask a question, start a conversation, that sort of thing, and we'll just pick someone. And this week it's cool. It's Rigid, so you know it's good. It's a brand that's got its own story. We're going to give away a Rigid. It's a quick acting tubing cutter. It's one of the good ones. It goes all the way from I think a quarter to 2 5/8. So it's super handy one to keep in your tool bag. Electricians, plumbers, HVAC cats, and if you don't do the trades, it makes a fantastic paperweight for your desk. I don't know.
Nice.
I'm just making stuff up now. But it's Rigid, so you know it's cool. And we want to give it away because that's what the book said do. No.
That's what we do.
That's what we do.
It's a total
We're
giveaway.
givers.
The whole Toolshed is a total give back to the industry that's given so much to
How lucky
us.
are we?
We're super lucky to get to do this. Who gets to do this kind
We
of
get
thing?
to do this.
We get to do this.
We get
That's
to do
right.
this. All right. So speaking of super lucky and people that are giving back, we want to. The Toolshed's for everyone, regardless of where you've been. If you are an apprentice or you're at the beginning stage of your career, we want to take time to share Jess' story. HVAC Jess on the social channels. She's a young lady. She's in the apprentice phase of her career. Go ahead and follow her online. She shares every day about the calls she runs and what she's learning and how she's learning and the challenges she's facing, and she's building a bit of a tribe there, and we're grateful. Let's see what the tip of the week from her is. Let's roll the tape.
Go to Jess.
Hello friends, I'm HVAC Jess, bringing you the apprentice tip of the week. I wanted to remind you today that even after you've completed your apprenticeship, you've logged all of your hours, you've written your final exam, and now you finally received your qualification certificate in the mail, you're ready to rock and roll. I wanted to remind you to keep learning. I know, you probably know everything about your trade because you've just done your apprenticeship, but consider that things are always changing. There are different, better, safer way of doing things, new technologies, new tools to learn about. So keep watching those webinars when they come out. Keep watching shows like the Toolshed so that you can keep your mind sharp and that you can be ahead of the game.
Love it.
Man, she's on point with these
She's
videos
got it
in
figured out.
season 2. And as much as you would not believe this, we probably don't know what she's going to send us in the videos.
No, she's just sharing her journey
She's
and her
just
lessons.
sharing, and it aligns with what we believe. And so that's the beautiful thing about a partnership. And like it looks like we do a lot of rehearsing, but we don't.
That's probably going to be hard to believe, I'm sure. What I love about what Jess just shared there, like she gets that learning is a process, and like most things, it never really ends. There is no finality. And so what I think about that, I actually think about some of the people that mentored me, and one of the things you catch things from people that you hang out with, sort of like cooties. One of the things I caught from them is this hunger to always be learning. They always had their nose in it. Back then it was a manual. I'll explain what that is. It's sort of like a PDF if you printed it out. They were always like taking something to learn, and they understood that one of the things that you could grow to love, specifically about the blue-collar trades, is how there's literally something you could learn every day. Mm-hmm. And a learning mind is a growing mind and a healthy mind. And so what she's saying about it's good to have goals, it's good to recognize the significant milestones on your journey, and hopefully those keep progressing, but never lose that ability to have a learning mind. And I think that's great. And
Yeah, I had a coach tell me one time, and it's always stuck with me. He said, when you get out of school, that's when your education really starts.
Oh, my.
And so whatever school that is, it's an apprentice school, it's high school, it's college, whatever it is, that's when your education really starts.
It seems like that's one of those secrets that you need to get turned on to. So it's great. Jess, we appreciate you sharing your authentic journey with us. I think there's a ton of people that probably recognize their journey in yours. And so thank you for the humility to share with us. And the Shed's a better place because of it. So let's look at some funny stuff, because it's been a minute. All right. Let's pull up this. Now, if I have a beef with the movie industry, man, they really lied about like how strong ductwork is. You know
I watched a movie that actually said that exact same thing yesterday. like I've never seen one that clean. They're not that clean when they go in to start with, are they?
Not by the time the drywallers are done. No hate drywallers. I'm just saying, you know who you are. No, but like you can't even hang like a service note on some of it without it falling down. And they've got like people like cracking safes hanging from.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Boo. All right. What's next? Oh yeah, this one. This is a cracker. Listen. In life, please remember that you absolutely get what you pay for, and this is what the other guy did. You know, don't worry. That's just the oil. It comes from the factory with a little of that fresh oil. That'll burn off. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
That's pretty much normal. Like you should take that out of your vocabulary.
Yeah.
Right. It's pretty much normal.
That stinging in your eyes goes away after 3 to 6 weeks. All right, let's take a look at this next one. Oh, man, you know, the number of people that I thought of this summer, and listen, every trade is valuable, but if your trade involves a 140-degree attic and you come down, especially, you know, some of those people, and it's like, yeah, thanks. It's been kind of hot in here. Can we switch the air conditioner? How much longer are you going to be? Meanwhile, you've lost the equivalent of 2 Bernese Mountain Dogs in weight from sweating off in the attic. And yeah, man, we see you, we celebrate you, you're a hero.
Yeah.
You know who you are.
Yeah.
All right, last one. Hey, so this one is, I call this the Friday afternoon drywall job. So tell you what, I'm gonna, not only am I the cheapest guy, but by the time I'm done, you're not even gonna see your HVAC equipment anymore. It'll be like a sheet. It's good. That's will work for beer money. That's what that job is. But what I do like about it is they painted the I don't know if that's ductwork or venting or whatever, but they painted it to match, so it's kind of nice.
My cousin can do that work for you. Like I know a guy.
I have a nephew.
Like, our friends are all like, "Hey, I know a guy."
Oh
right?
yeah. Well, that's the kind of work that guy does.
That's right.
All right. So that's the fun stuff. Let's talk about the safety stuff. It doesn't look like anybody needed a ladder for any of that. But this week's safety tip. I want to talk about ladders because whether you're residential, commercial, most trades involve a ladder at some point. First, just putting this issue to bed, that is not a step. Like, that's not a step. When it says this is not a step, they're not being ironic. So don't step on it. But really, the serious thing is I want to talk about injuries and carrying and moving ladders, especially extension ladders of some sort. A lot of us still have trucks where it's up on the roof, or it's above us, and there's a right and a wrong way to move a ladder, and the number of people that I've seen lose traction in their career because they rotator cuff or a back injury, just unloading the ladder or trying to put it back up, and usually involves rushing through. I'm guilty of it. But there's actually a right and a wrong way to get your ladder off. Speak to your safety guy, speak to your insurance company, or someone that's been around a bit longer than you. Like, practice that before. There you go. Limber
do a little stretching.
Limber
you know,
up.
you can do a little stretching before you reach up over your head for the first time in 7 days.
I'm telling you, it's a crying shame that one of the hallmarks of the trades is that somebody can't bend down and pick up their grandkid.
Yeah.
Because of some stupid injury they got, lifting a water heater on their own, you know, manhandling a compressor on a roof, or more likely having a ladder injury. So please, work safe, be good humans, get help, 3 points of contact, and that is not a step. So I'm off my little soapbox, but yeah, we want you going home to your family. We care about your safety at the tool shed, so let's keep that in mind. All right.
You think when they put that on a ladder, it says this is not a step. There's a reason they had to put that on there, right?
Yes.
It's kind of like when they put the little desiccant thing in, like
yeah, don't eat this.
Don't eat this, right? There's a reason they had to put it in there. Right?
I always picture somebody in the marketing department opening the taste complaint. Your edible toy did not taste good. Please change the recipe.
My mouth was really dry after I ate that thing.
We're probably gonna have to put it on it. But yeah, like these are not Darwin Awards. There's no prize. Be careful, all right? Go home with your family safe. All right, so listen, storytelling. We sort of talked about it a little bit. There's two stories we're going to talk about today, and the first one is how to use stories with our homeowners and clients every day, and really loved ones. It's the way we use stories to communicate about others, and then we'll talk a little bit about the internal story, the self story. So you're going to talk about stories. Why I like stories is, people think, oh, can you teach me how to close sales? Truth be told, I'm not very, I did okay. But I always found that if you can open more conversations through questions like we talked about in the previous weeks, but then tell good stories. Help people understand what you do. And that's what you do. But why is storytelling so important, and how does that make a difference to people's income and all of that?
It's a reptilian brain probably, but at some point we gathered around the campfire and told stories, and so that's how people relate. That's how we communicate, and it's all through stories. And so you want to learn how to use a third-party story. You want to use other people's story. You want to make your own story. But if you want to stay away from that technical jargon, because the homeowners can't follow that for the most part. Right? And so I love to follow a guy named Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn, R-O-H-N. This is not the guy on Sports Center.
No, different.
This is the guy. This is who you want to follow. Super, super smart person. But he says that the number one law, first law of economics. First law of economics is this: you do not get paid for what you do. You get paid for how much value you bring into the market.
Woo!
You don't get paid by the hour. You say, well, I get paid $20 an hour. No, you get paid for the value that you bring into the market. So when you develop this skill of storytelling, and maybe some of the other things we've talked about on the Toolshed, but when you develop this skill, you bring more value to the marketplace. And so just think about that, Eddie. Is there a chance that as a tradesperson that I could double my value to the marketplace?
Absolutely.
In the same amount of time, if I doubled my value to the marketplace, could I double my income?
At the very least.
And has that happened to you, my friend?
More than I deserve, absolutely. And you and I both know there's people that we've watched their careers just take off because they've learned one or two of these skills, and their income is absolutely skyrocketing.
I could tell you 100 names of people that said, hey, I was making $40,000 a year. I was making $60,000 a year. And then I started investing in myself, and I started working on me, and I started working on my communication skills.
Right on.
I started working on my storytelling, and I literally doubled my income.
Yep.
And when you do that,
yep,
it's because you're bringing more value to the marketplace. And so is there a chance that I could be 3 times as more valuable in the marketplace?
Yes.
And if I'm 3 times as more valuable, the market will pay you 3 times as much money. The company just handles the money.
Right.
The marketplace tells you.
Right on.
Right?
Right on. There's absolutely, what I love about the trades, you talk about it all the time, it's the secret, right? In the trades, you can compress that. If it takes you 10 years to learn that, that's how long it's going to take. If it takes you 2 years to learn that, that's how long it's going to take, because there's a direct correlation. Almost every call, I mean, we measure everything. We have all kinds of KPIs in our industry. It's really easy to see who's delivering value, and whenever you sit one of these people down and go, let's just take the most basic one. My average ticket is like 200, but man, I saw on the board today that your average ticket is 400. How do you do it? And they'll always say something like, I don't know, I just tell people, I share the stories, and they usually ask me what to do, and I do it. And it's because they figured out how to communicate and it's so measurable, and it's so quantifiable, and it's empirical. So you can go into your review with these numbers, and
it's a win for everybody. This is not
Everybody
just a
wins.
win for the company.
Oh my
This
goodness,
is not
no.
just a win for the technician.
No.
This is a win for the homeowner.
they feel educated, they feel
Absolutely.
informed, they feel comfortable because someone has spoken to them in their language and the way they understand, and they feel at peace.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good.
I mean, I'll tell you, like, between Eddie and I, we could probably share this, and it took me longer than it should have taken me to find out that I can bring more value to the marketplace, and the market will pay me more. It took me a while to figure that out. Like, you know,
Preach.
when I was in rocket surgery school, I
Yep.
didn't figure that out. But listen, we're telling you, you can shortcut that step.
That's
It
right.
doesn't have to be 8 years or 10 years. It can be 2 years. I know some people that got into the trades, and in 1 year, they figured out, hey, here's how I'm going to bring market.
That's right.
Here's
That's
how I'm
right.
going to bring value. Like, and just skyrocketed and doubled and tripled their income
Yep.
and changed their family's future.
It's clearly something I know Jerry's super passionate, because it's inside our control. There's a lot of things outside our control, but you know, you deciding to be a better version of you today than yesterday is absolutely something in your control. And you talk about this, like if we were to take that from a concept to a very practical level, you talk about it's something as simple as learning how to deliver, you know, the news the right way about sharing solutions. We've got we talk all the time about, we've got a step. You discover the facts and then you share solutions. So if you're applying that system, learning that one skill is one of the ways you can add more value. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so like we know, you know, my good friend Brett Sumter, he's trained a lot of technicians, and he'll tell you, and I'll tell you the same thing, is there's a spot where we drop the ball in the call. And for the most part, it's after we diagnose the equipment, we find out what's wrong with the equipment until we share that with the homeowner.
Right.
There's a little space there that we need to learn how to do that correctly. Otherwise, you come up out of the attic, you come down out of the attic, you come up out of the basement after being down there by yourself and not talking to the homeowner for 20 minutes, say, hey, I found your problem, $420. You want to go ahead and do it.
Yep.
And like, that's not storytelling. And there's a gap there. So you got to learn how not to do that.
Right.
You can't say this part's broken, because they're going to say, how much is it to replace it?
Right.
You're not ready for that. And so it's really important that that transition goes really, really well. This is going to require a circle.
Arts and crafts, Jerry,
we've
my
had
favorite
lots
Jerry.
and lots of comments. I've been invited to schools to teach kids how to do circles and lots of different things.
He's
I
a big deal on the international circuit.
That one turned out relatively good.
That might be your best yet, buddy.
It's almost like a pizza pie. Listen, hey, instead of telling people like this is wrong, this is what's broken, you got to kind of do, it's called the circle of trust. Brett Sumter, circle of trust. Listen, this was okay, I checked it. This I looked at and it was okay.
Oh, wow.
I went upstairs and even did like a little repair that I didn't have to charge you for.
Okay.
Now there is one thing that I want to share with you. I'm going to go out to my van. I'm going to put together some options for you. I'll come back in and share those with you, and you can decide which one's best for you.
All right,
It's just like you've got to learn that little piece there, because like we shoot ourselves in the foot by saying, well, this part's broken.
All right, I'm gonna make you park here, because you just did that so flawlessly and so simply that I think there's so much power in what you just did. There's so much, like, you didn't start here. You built value, and again, you didn't say, hey, use us because we're really good. You said, hey, I found this. You showed people your integrity. You showed people the value in having you out before you even talked about asking them for money. And you also set the tone for the next step. So, you know, remember, customers haven't done this before, and so they're like, all they want to know is like, oh, but you said, hey, here's what I found. Here's the next couple of things that are going to happen. I'm going to do that. And you put them back in control. I'm going to come in. I'm going to share those options with you. And when we're done, you're going to tell them. That was a masterclass, Jerry.
So, hey, I love like somewhere like right here saying, here's a picture of your unit before I worked on it, and here's a picture of what it looked like after I worked on it at the end of the call.
Show don't tell.
Oh man.
Show don't tell.
Right. Telling's not selling.
Oh my gosh.
It's just talking.
Oh my gosh, Jerry.
Right. So
that's good.
Hey, learn that little step. You'll thank me for it later.
When you find the right space, your job is to just make it a little bigger and more comfortable. And what you're talking about is not rushing just making sure you're professional, you're being thorough, you're leading the customer through the process gracefully, you're controlling the call, not the customer. One of Jerry's things, I love it. Lastly, you'd mentioned something, and an almost throwaway line. I want to talk about that in the last couple of minutes. And it's this idea of technical jargon. You know, when I was younger, I felt my insecurity, and Jess has talked about it as an apprentice. And so I kind of got caught in this trap of like, I know, I'll study, I'll know more than everybody else. I'll be super technical. I'm not, but for the purposes of this exercise, like I'm going to be super technical, and I'm going to impress the customer into knowing what to do. And so you get all your capacitor, it's two dissimilar metals in a dielectric fluid, and what happens is you store and release charge, burp, burp, beep, bop, burp, and it's just junk because it's not useful.
No,
in the sense of what you're talking about.
And the confused mind says no.
Oh my gosh.
And when you're doing all of that, like you're explaining it the way that you want to explain it, it's really your ego. It's really your ego.
Your ego is not your amigo, as you've taught us.
So you're just trying to impress people by how much you know, and like they don't really care how much you know. They only care that you care.
That's right.
Then they'll care a little bit about what you know once they know you care.
Yep.
But it's important, like when we go to the doctor, and the doctor says, "Okay, Eddie, I've checked you out. I've checked your blood, and your BP is high. Your triglycerides is 3.9. They should be 2.7. And they give you all this technical jargon.
Yep.
And at the end of that doctor's appointment, you say, "Well, okay, doctor.
What should I do?"
Listen, as a service tech in the trades, we go out to people's homes and we explain things in a very technical way to them. They don't say yes. They say, "I'm confused. I'm going to call around."
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't really say that. They just say, "Well, your prices are really high.
Right. They say
I'm going to need to think about it.
Yep.
I'm going to call some other people." But really, you just confuse them into not knowing what to do. Right. So if you have a little story, I think you got a pretty good story for like a capacitor.
Yeah. So again, I was never the most technical tech. I was proficient, and I felt it was important to know. But after a few you ever talk to a dog and the dog just goes, sometimes homeowners do that, and I caught that, and I was like, okay. And I think I was with another tech one time, and I heard how he talked about it, and Jerry and I are big fans of R&D, Rob and Duplicate, right? What ours is yours. And what they explained is, compressors go from static to moving, and it takes a big amp draw. It's hard on the motor, so they put these things in to help them run, and there's windings. Put it this way: have you ever started to get on a bike, and that first pedal to get started is pretty tough?
Yeah.
But once it's going, it's easy. So your compressor does that in startup. You get high startup amps, and some systems come with start assist capacitors. Some don't. It's just a little thing to help the compressor, just like if you had another buddy on the back of a bike pedaling with you. And it was and when we started talking about start assist and things like that in terms that they understood, they all went, "Oh, well, that makes sense."
Yeah, that's a great line for storytelling. Like those little products are designed to fail in the life of the system.
Yeah.
You can tell the homeowner, kind of like your windshield wipers, kind of like your battery on your car. Tell them something that they can relate to, so they understand like why it broke. It broke because it's designed to break a couple of times in the life of the system, and we're going to need to replace that today.
Yep. And
I got it on the truck.
Yep. Absolutely.
Right?
And I would tell you that there's some people being in the trades long enough, and they feel bad because they used to last 40 years or whatever. That's okay. There's nothing we can do about it. Remember, our job is to focus on what we control, bring the information to bear, and if it's going to need replaced every 3 or 4 years, just let the customer know and then educate them. So lots going on. We're going to go a little deeper in tomorrow's deep dive. If this is interesting to you, and visual aids and storytelling and communicating and better and bringing homeowners and customers and team members even along with you, you're going to want to catch tomorrow's episode. Jerry's putting on another arts class. I don't know. Maybe I'll have a smock on. Maybe there'll be paint. I don't know. Bob Ross might show up. It's an adventure here every day. And where are we? We're in the tool shed, as my buddy says, one of a kind, brought to you by Schedule Engine and the wonderful people at Emerson. Today, make sure that you run the system and bring people with you. That's your focus. And as always, you want to take us out.
Hey, thanks for joining us at the Tool Shed today. Go out and be awesome today. See you next time.